Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Behind the Wheel podcast. This is your host, Jordan, and today we have Lachy, one of our speech pathologists from tongue twister there. One of our speechies, should have gone with the shorter version, from West Brisbane Ipswich team. Lachy, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jordan. Pleasure to be here.
And as a speechie, really excited to go through your personal and professional journey, and hopefully we can share with the audience and our listeners some more information around your exposure to community as a speechy student, and then how your journey came into community here at GenPhysio and what that's been like. So really excited to unpack that today. But to kick us off, take us through why speech pathology as a career.
Yeah, right. Excellent question to start off with. So I kind of fell into speech. My brother is a physio, my sister's an OT, so I feel like it was
Oh,
the
wow.
last option. I can't exactly follow my siblings. So yeah, went into speech not convinced I'd practice when I'd graduate, but by the third year when we started placement, I realized how rich and rewarding this career could actually be. And once I got all of the uni business done, I realized that the hands-on job was wonderful. And then, yeah, graduation came around before I'd know it, and I was just perusing, and I first settled on the community health practice as what I wanted to start with. It was the broadest. It is the most realistic in my mind, in that we're in with our clients, and the hands-on day-to-day is just feels the most meaningful. And then GenPhys caught my eye through its new grad program. I looked into it a bit and happened to have two of my graduate friends already working here, and I talked to them about it, and honestly it sounded too good to be true, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. And it wasn't too good to be true. It was just good.
And it was true, was
It
it?
was true.
That's great. Oh, really good to hear. Lachy was part of our new grad program in 2025, so been with us for a little over a year now, kicking goals and thriving, and hopefully learned so much along the way. But if we just rewind back to your uni days, we were talking off air about exposure to community, and community is just such a growing and large field in allied health for all disciplines, but in particularly speech. But yet it's not something that our students get much access to. Can you tell me a little bit about your clinical placements as a uni student and what they were like, and if you got the opportunity to go on a community placement?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, kind of like what we reflected on, yeah, off air, is that community health. Once I graduated, I realized that, like you said, it is a massive part of how allied health provide their services. But yeah, going through university, it was obviously spoken of, but not emphasized. All eyes were on government and working in Queensland Health, and then those hospital placements, and then the clinical placements, and cautious around entering clinics. That's where all of my placements were engineered towards. I had about 70% of them at hospitals and then one at a school. So unfortunately, I didn't get experience within community health. And it wasn't until talking to my educator in my last placement that I realized it was an avenue we can go into, and one that has an outstanding amount of job prospects just because of the nature of it, because of how meaningful it is and how common it actually is once you graduate. And so, yeah, following that, I took a bit of a gamble and decided to go down that path without actually having placement. But certainly it is a scary thing for a uni student to graduate and to go into a field they didn't do on placement. And so it's a bit of a catch-22 there. It's the most welcoming field I found, but not having experience at uni kind of limits your perspective or your sort of what you think you can go into there.
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
such a shame because it's such a large field,
Mhm.
and many job prospects are in community allied health. So it's backwards in a way. The
Yes.
universities need to catch up a little bit,
Yeah.
and we also need to do our part on offering more student placements.
Mm.
Something that we're focusing on more this year and bringing that back,
Oh, wonderful.
because universities, I know, are actually struggling to get quality clinical placements
Mm.
in community-based businesses. So we, as a larger provider in this space, needs to do more work. And I know
Yeah.
that's a initiative for us this year, but then the other providers too. So you talked about not having practical experience
Mm.
in community, but talking to your educator and finding out that was an option,
Mm.
obviously later in your studies, and then took that leap to come to a community-based allied health business like GenPhysio. What was your reasoning? Could you dive a little bit further into
Yeah.
that, getting exposure to hospitals
Yeah.
and to a clinic or was it a school? And then what was going through your mind to say, hey, I've only just come across community.
Mm,
I've had exposure to all these different areas and I want to take that gamble
yeah.
and hopefully it's paid off.
Yeah, well, to start off, it 100% has. I could not have reflected better on my new grad year. New grad, it's a double-edged sword. You come out not knowing anything, but that is your blank canvas, right? You got the most to learn. So yeah, I decided to take it to gamble with the community health job on my first job. But even though I had the hospital experience, I found it's structured and it's safe, and you've got a tier there, and you've got a very sequential progress, and you know exactly what you're going to be doing. You're going to be practicing with for speechies. We're going to be at the acute ward, and we're going to be doing dysphagia assessments, and we're going to have a supervisor watching us. And so that safety and that structure is what tends to draw students. But the more I looked into it, and I was quite fortunate to have someone open my eyes to the community health area, I realized that it is an area where you can learn the most from. You have access to every single population. I service
Mm,
everyone from 2 years to 82 years. I get to go into aged care facilities just as often I get to go into homes or schools. So I get a little bit of everything, um, but it's not too much of one thing. So that's what really drew me. And like I said before, I wasn't sure on speech pathology, but then I realized this job can be so meaningful. So I didn't know which avenue I wanted to go down exactly, and I didn't want to be pigeonholed. And so community health, it opens all of the doors. And then one thing that I think might be quite unique to Gen Phys is that your niche interests and your passions are nurtured here. So if I'm really interested in dysphagia, the support system here, that my caseload will be engineered towards that. And my supervision will be engineered towards that. Professional development's approved towards that. For me, it's working with the autistic population, and I've had a wonderful amount of experience with that and support with that and professional development towards that. So yeah, it was really about making the most of my new grad year and opening as many doors as
yeah, I
possible
love
for
that.
me.
We've got a few gold nuggets there. I don't know where to start, but I have to say you're being very harsh on yourself when you say you've done 4 years of hard study,
Mm,
coming through with a fantastic degree and piece of paper. I've got two of mine behind me now. Although Bond Uni, it costs an arm and a leg. I've still got to get that sorted. But you mentioned that coming out not knowing much.
mm,
And I think that's being harsh on yourself, but you
mm,
are in true, there is reality there that being exposed to NDIS funding
mm,
and processes, aged care, home care package now, support at
yeah.
home, not only just understanding the clinical side of things,
Mm,
which is new and can be new, but also it's understanding the different schemes. So I think
yeah,
you
certainly.
come out with more than you think you know, but also there's a lot of opportunity to learn. So I like what you said very clearly around the structured environment within the hospital
Mm,
like system, which is a positive for some, but it also, if this is where you're going at perhaps a limited scope
mhm,
on your practice as a clinician, on what your tool belt essentially that you can use for different types of clients you get exposure to is
yeah.
limited in that setting, versus say in a community based setting where you're treating clients from the age of 2 up to 82. Here at GenPhysio, we are pretty special in that we were here long before NDIS, so we're very fortunate to have deep roots in the aged care part. And
Mm,
I know for a fact, even with a decent sized speechy team that we have here, we're very lucky to have that exposure in the aged care environment. Whilst it's may not be a massive percentage of your caseload,
mm.
to get that range and that tool belt
Yeah, certainly.
to grow,
Yeah.
as you said, as a graduate clinician, that's
Yeah.
something that piqued your interest.
Yeah, it's incredibly valuable, and I think the reason it fit me so well, and a fair few of my colleagues, I must say, is that this practice, this community health, is really good for those clinicians that graduate not knowing exactly where they want to go. Like everyone finds something that is their passion and their interest, and you pursue that. Community health allows you to explore that. But if you know you love that niche, if you love that fast-paced acute medical environment, then yeah, hospital can be great. But if you're not so sure and you want to explore every option, then this community health was a real good fit for that.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Great. So take us to your, I guess, new grad approach. I know we were having a laugh that when you put in your uniform sizes,
Yeah.
putting the size of Lochy on creatine and hitting the weights 6 times a week. But when reality, when we first met, I don't know,
Quite
maybe it
there,
was
was
after
I?
Japan. There was too much sashimi and not enough creatine. But
Certainly.
the shirt was way too big. But jokes aside, we got you set up and sorted. How was your first even month
Mm,
coming into GenPhysio? Did you feel welcome? Did you get
mm.
to meet your peers? Take us through that sort of moment, even day one or
Yeah.
first week for a
Yeah.
clinician, whether they're a speechy or not, thinking
Mm.
about community and thinking about a new grad program at GenPhysio.
Oh, a little over a year now. Doesn't feel like it, but it has been so memorable. And no word of a lie, when I looked into the new grad program, it looked wonderful and it was better than expected. So I remember day dot, the first 6 weeks are really about orientating you to the company, setting you up for practicing as a clinician, meeting your team, understanding your supervisor, setting up all of the networks, building that foundation so that you can progress as a confident and keen clinician. And that's something reflecting on the new grad program that GenPhys does emphasize is that the clinician is put first in that sense. I felt as if they're invested in building my confidence and my skills. And then eventually down the line, when I'm ready to go, like all of that flows off into my clients. So there was no stress to get straight into it and to build that caseload and no deep end, which was wonderful. And yeah, going back to day one, I did come back from Japan lighter than I am now and a little bit optimistic with my shirts. And day one, we had our orientation. We met all of the team, and there was Subway platters also. And I was told that the founder, Jordan, would be dropping in to say hello. And I was like, oh, that's amazing already. For a big company, that's a rare thing. And I was talking to one of the team managers and just said, hey, I made a mistake with my shirts. Do you think I could maybe get the size down? Because they were like parachutes. It was unwearable. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll just text someone and he'll pick it up on his way over. And I'm like, cool, another late clinician might grab it, but no, then you arrived and you were carrying shirts, and he's like, oh, where's Lockie? And I was like, here. And I was like, I've made the founder of the company go out of his way to get my shirts on day dot. But I think that's a testament to Gen Phys. It's like a family. They look after each other. There's, yeah, real investment in the other people. And that new grad program is about building you up as a clinician so that you're on your feet and you're confident, and then your clients benefit from that.
Right. Yeah, we focus on a 6 week
Mm,
more structured program
mm,
over that first year. But that first 6 weeks we know is absolutely vital,
mm.
especially as a new grad. First real serious
Yeah,
job outside of all the part-time
yeah,
casual work that you've done in the previous years. You get to use your skills to really make some positive impacts to
yeah,
people's lives. But it is a real, it's the big world
yeah,
and first full-time job for most. So we want to make sure that that connection, a bit of fun is there, but also have those training wheels
yeah.
on, that we're not throwing you out in the deep end. That
Mm,
first 6 weeks you go through the shadowing program. The
yeah,
first couple of weeks, no clients on your own set,
yeah.
it's shadowing other clinicians. Can you remember that process? Did you get exposure to other disciplines
Absolutely.
too?
Yeah, that gradual increase in demands and clinical demands, operational demands, everything, it was very sequential. So it really does
Okay.
start out just like get your head around our website, get your head around this is the document system with no expectations. And then it builds up to shadowing clinicians and then talking with them and building that sort of multidisciplinary teamwork. And then you see your first client and it's one per week. And you see that client and then you do their notes and then you reflect on them and you talk with your supervisor about what went well. And all the while you're thinking you're quite anxious because everyone is when they first start their job, but the confidence builds with your demands and with your cases so that you're never overwhelmed. A lot of thought's been put into it, a lot of reflection. I've talked with my supervisor about it, and it's been a long process to build this sort of sweet spot that the new grad program
Mm,
hits. But it really is a sequential build up to now. I couldn't have imagined seeing as many clients as doing as much as I did now a year ago. But it doesn't feel like it happened suddenly. And it doesn't
yeah.
feel like at any point I was pushed to do it. It was just a natural progression as you build experience and confidence. And GenPhys is
Right.
really good about structuring that, having your training wheels on, and then they just pop off when you're ready.
Fantastic.
Mm,
Excellent. And now being in the role for over a year, you would have seen all sorts of different
mm,
clients. Can you share with the audience maybe a big win that you've had, or
yeah,
a really rewarding moment that you've got
yeah.
with one of your clients, being a speechy, getting to use those skills?
That's a tough question. Just one, like a couple pop to mind. I think one moment I realized that this job is so much more than a job in that you're actually enriching lives. And as a speechie, for me, working with very young population, usually the autistic population, I realized that I'm actually helping little humans grow and develop in wonderful ways. And, I got this message one time. This is the first time I've ever got a message from a client, kind of out the blue. And when I heard my phone go, I was anxious because we're on school holidays at the time. I was like, oh no, what's gone wrong? And turns out this was just a message from the client. So I see this client in at school every Wednesday, and it took quite a while to get rapport there and for them to enjoy the sessions and meeting a new person and that change. But this message was that this client had woken up really upset that he couldn't go to school that day because he'd miss out on our speech therapy. And that made
Wow.
me realize everything else is like, I'd been tracking his language gains and his communication gains and exactly how many morphemes he was uttering in each sentence. But all of that aside, I realized we'd made such massive gains in just he was loving therapy and he was enjoying it and he was socializing more. And that made me realize, you know, that's also progress. And that's how you know that you're doing a good job, is they're just becoming a better version of themselves and you're helping coax that along.
So the buy-in and engagement from
Hmm.
clients wouldn't come from lack of progress,
Most definitely.
and that goes hand in hand. And then how good is that that
Yeah.
you're seen as an important part of their life?
It's a very
And
special role.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Have you got that second story? Have you got another one?
Yes, that's the second one.
Yep.
So that's the school one. Oh, I've got to filter through now. Which one was the other one I was going to tell? I think I jotted it down. Let me have a look.
Addressing the notes here.
Yeah, yeah,
We
I remember
give
those two. I
prep
go on
questions
tangents
to
and
our
then,
guests just in case, you know.
yeah, you got to have them. I
Well,
do remember what it was. Sorry, it
you got
was
it?
my
Great.
first internal referral. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it just came to me
Take us
now.
through that.
Yeah,
Take us through that internal
it was
process.
very rewarding because this was just from a parent through word of mouth, and this was nice. And when I realized that I was beginning to understand myself as a clinician and how to best provide my services beyond, yeah, the actual services, because you come out of uni ready to do your clinical work and to put in your intervention programs, but the way you deliver it is just as important. And this was a referral because a parent had just talked to another parent, and that son of the other parent had a really tough time finding a clinician that gels with them. And because of that reason, had all but given up finding speech therapy. And this parent said, we've worked with you for a few weeks now, Lockie. Is there any chance you have some capacity to take on this client? Because you would be the absolute perfect fit for working with this kid. And I do
Wow.
end up seeing them now as well. And just
Yeah.
one of the most wonderful clients and get along so well. Just having that, someone reach out to you and request you as a clinician just because of the way you go about your work was really rewarding.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a huge moment.
Mm,
So not only are you getting that buy-in and that engagement from your existing client set, but they're actually sharing the good word to other friends or people that are in need of a speechy that they feel they can connect with. Because that's really important, right? That it's not just you come out with all this toolkit and I'm the smartest person in my field, but
mm,
it's the engagement of actually who you are as a
yeah.
person and making sure there's that right fit for the client
Yeah. Yeah.
rapport build.
Most definitely. And that is fundamental to all the allied health professions. And the
Yeah,
importance of
absolutely.
that can't be overstated, especially for a profession focused on communication.
Course.
Mm.
So now, challenging moments. We've shared a couple
Oh,
of
yes.
positive moments, but we all know that the the great part about a community is you get exposure to all sorts of different things,
Mm.
and that's what makes it exciting. And no 2 days really is the same. But there are challenges that hit any different clinical setting. To share the raw and honest side of
Mm.
speech in the community, is there anything that you've had a challenge with clients
Yeah.
or a moment that really stumped you, and just take us through that.
Yeah, certainly there's many that every clinician will face. And yeah, talk about the elephant in the room is probably imposter syndrome. It gets every clinician, and I've talked to my supervisors lots about it, and it probably affects every clinician throughout their entire career. I don't know if that one ever goes. So that's a big one. But new grads particularly are going to be quite sensitive
Mm,
to it, and it will come in whichever way it does. But being aware of it and having the support system that we have here in Gen Phys is massive for overcoming it because yeah, it's just your own you are your own worst critic with that sort of thing. So if you're aware of it and you can talk someone through it and you can think about those wins we shared before and to really remind yourself why you're doing this job and all of the amazing things that you are accomplishing, and to not bog down on those few things that require a little bit more fixing or that didn't go
Mm.
exceptionally the first time. Yeah, being aware of that and having those strategies for yourself and between your team, massive there.
Yeah, great. I was just thinking on this as a bit of an off topic, but as a clinician, have you found that AI is helpful,
Mm,
whether it's maybe the note taking and what we've got in our space here
mm.
with our CRM, but also just online? Have you used AI to help with those challenging clients, looking at
Yeah,
different techniques out
yeah,
of pure curiosity? We didn't have that, and I certainly
yeah.
didn't have that as a physio, practicing physio. But now I'm thinking that would be so
Oh,
helpful to even
certainly.
run through ideas for
Yeah.
therapy and,
Yeah.
and complex conditions.
Yeah. No, certainly it is. I mean, it's an inextricable part of our job now. It's here. It's the same, it was probably a big difference going from using a library to using Google. It's just something we have
Mm,
to learn to use.
great.
It's another tool. So
Yes.
we've got it integrated into our note system and it's amazing there. It's a huge efficiency and time saver.
Okay,
And
great.
you just got to learn to optimize it. But from a clinical standpoint, it's massive there's so much out there for the allied health professions.
Yeah.
And, good, bad, there's a lot. And the best way to go about this work is to just know all of that and condense it and then take it with a grain of salt and implement it in how you know best. So AI is
Mm,
excellent at just getting your head around what's out there. If you've got a complex presentation, get it to synthesize some articles, get it to generate some ideas, get it to do the groundwork, make up pitches or different activities, things that you can spend your time better on. You can use that critical clinical thinking in other ways. So it's a real efficiency and time saver.
yeah, great. Yeah,
Mm.
very fortunate that
Yeah.
AI
Oh, yeah.
is just a productivity tool, not only
Definitely.
helping with a note, but also using it to understand a
Yeah.
complex sort of
Yeah.
diagnoses and different treatment options. But I do like the direction you're going with. It's not necessarily a cookie cutter approach that you
Mhm.
need to make your own observations and
Yeah.
assessments, take what's there and individualize it based on the client in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the populations that we work with, they're all
Hmm.
individualized. So it's a tool, but it's definitely not the be all and end all.
Great. So on community,
Mm.
as a speechie with us, multidisciplinary team. That's
Mm.
another thing that we're big on here. Obviously, starting with physio, hence part of the where the name came from, with myself being
Mm.
one. But I've noticed the need for clients is more holistic and multi faceted
Mm.
in the importance of having a multidisciplinary team and approach to client care is critical, particularly with the an OT speech
Yeah.
relationship and physio there as well. Have you had exposure to working with different disciplines within Gen Physio?
Yeah, yeah. So certainly everyone here at GenPhys has it from the get-go with the shadowing program we chatted about before. You
Yeah.
start your job off working alongside the other clinicians in that sense, and very often they'll get you to jump in the sessions, so you end up doing joint sessions there anyway. But yeah, you start off just wrapping your head around what the other professions do because that's certainly a gap in uni is you don't
Mhm.
always have that. You barely know what your own profession does, so learning about the new ones is massive.
True.
MDT approach is also really important with community because we're in these clients' everyday environments. Nothing is more important than their functional activity in every single day. And we need speech, OT, and physio to best support that. So the community health, again, MDT is even more important there. So it's great that we work within a real close-knit team. And we meet with our multidisciplinary teams every fortnight. So we're always talking with each other. And I have a lot of shared clients, more so with the OTs, just being a speechy
Yeah, of
myself.
course.
But we have done some of those speech pathology OT or spot sessions, and
Yeah, great.
yeah, they integrate wonderfully. Not only is it more fun for the client because they've got like two people coming to visit and play with them, and
Yeah.
when end up seeing a client for a year, for a week, every week for a year, they get a bit bored of you. So a new face is always welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we work with OTs around turn taking, reciprocal conversations, letter formation and literacy, and then communicating self-advocacy and communicating emotions. They integrate so much with one another. So having that option here within the community health and within a multidisciplinary company is definitely a big tool in the tool belt for us.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I
Mm.
love that you've taken us all different aspects and
Yeah, there's so many.
love it, Lockie. Now, in the interest of time, we're going to
Mm.
go through to our quick fire round. So, being a community allied health professional that you
Yep.
are, a
Mhm.
lot of it we know is spent behind the wheel and getting around.
Certainly.
So the quickfire round is all about what a community clinician goes through and a bit of fun. So I'm just going to kick that off now. What's your go-to lunch when you're on the road?
It's cliche. It's sushi. It's not
Sushi's a
even
good one.
because I lived in Japan for a year. It's sushi. Just it's always sushi.
Yeah, it's healthy. I'm lactose intolerant, so I know there's not much dairy, and I'm not patient myself. So when I rock up, you know it's right there.
Ride that train. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
always do.
And then you get now. But
Yep. Great sushi. So coffee order. Are you a coffee drinker?
long black.
Long
Absolutely. Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
Yes.
Possibly
Me
too
too.
much, but yeah, I'll have a long black at probably about 2 to 3 a day, and it
Two
seems
to
to
three.
increase as the temperature gets colder. There's a
Wow.
correlation
Okay.
I've noticed. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, love a long black. Always stopping at 7-Eleven though, because
Yeah, I
$1.50.
heard they're
Yeah, it's
good
good.
too. I
It is
haven't
great
tried
coffee.
one.
Oh,
Okay.
you've got to. Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah, I've
What's
heard
what's
it's
your
actually really good and cheap.
It is. Yeah, yeah. Are you long black or latte or
Long black. Yeah,
oh
love
well
it.
perfect. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay, I'll have to give that a go. Favorite podcast or playlist
Mm.
getting around? Have you
Well,
got
that's a
any
good
at the
one.
moment?
I'm gonna do a curveball there and say audiobook June. The June audiobook.
June,
Mm-hmm.
Dune,
That's
like
it,
the
yeah.
movie June.
Yeah.
I love the movies. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the series. I know
Oh,
they've
the
got the
books are
series.
an absolute marathon read, so I'm just going with the
Okay.
audiobook, but geez, they're
Okay.
intricate and so
Yeah.
good. You get so sucked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think June 3 is coming out
Yeah.
this year, so
Oh,
I'll
it's
be
gonna be
pumped for
great.
that. I like audiobooks. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
nice. A phrase you find you say with your clients or on the road often.
I always find myself saying ready, Freddy, like when we're going to the next activity with the client. And I don't know, it just I've never really said it before practicing, but just always, all right, ready, Freddy, let's go. And for so many of my clients, I'm not Freddy. Why are you saying that? But eventually they kind of learn. But yeah, always saying ready, Freddy.
That's
Mm.
Locky's idiosyncrasy.
Yeah.
Love it. And a dream road trip
Oh
holiday destination.
man,
Given we're on
that's a
the
good
road a
one.
lot, it
Road.
only makes sense that we want to do even more driving when we're on holidays, right? So,
Why not?
any,
We're good
yeah.
at it. I'd say dream one. Dream one would be
Yeah.
Canada. I'd love to
Oh,
just give me
nice.
like a
Yeah.
month road tripping through Canada. I'd be happy
Okay.
hiking, seeing the glaciers, everything. Yep,
Do you do
yep.
much of snowboarding or skiing?
Love it. Yeah, absolutely love it.
What's your type? What's your go-to?
Snowboard. Snowboard every day.
Snowboard. Yeah,
Yeah, yep,
nice.
yep. I've
Yeah.
paid the price, but I've learnt now. It was been a
Okay.
very bumpy journey, but I can say I'm
Yeah.
semi-confident on the board now, so it's just fun.
Yeah, I haven't been for
Mm.
11 years, although I booked my first snow trip, yeah,
Oh,
since Japan actually in
oh, there you go.
January 2016.
Yeah,
So almost 11 years, but
like riding a
Huckleberg
bike.
was the last time. So I thought, yeah,
Yeah,
riding a bike, just booked Queenstown or Wanaka off Queenstown
yeah,
with
nice.
take the kids this time and
Perfect.
going with a
New
couple of
Zealand.
friends.
Yeah, I was going to say road trip. The second place was New Zealand. I mean, it's such a beautiful country. So,
It is.
yeah, I mean, you might want the wrist guards and whatnot. Can't be come back injured.
Yeah, that's it. I'll
Yeah,
have the helmet,
yeah, yeah.
I'll have the mouth guards, the wrist guards, the knee pads. So make sure I come back
Can't
in
be
one
an in.
piece, right? No, no, absolutely not. All right, closing question for today.
Mhm.
What's one piece of advice you'd give a new grad Speechie
Hmm.
starting out here at GenPhysio?
Oh, just one, just one. I feel like we've
Two, I'll
covered.
accept two.
Oh, you'll accept two. Good, good. All right. First one that I want to say is don't rush it. Just embrace it. Starting here at Gen Phys, definitely don't rush it. Embrace that new grad program. Get it, accept it for everything it offers. It offers such a wonderful chance to grow your skills, grow your confidence, grow your knowledge and your understanding of this profession in such a comfortable, structured way. Just embrace it and learn everything you can. Second one, I think that's great for that I've really just come around on recently is pay attention to those little parts of your practice that excite you and that you think can be that underlying passion. For me, it's working with the autistic population, and it's been a reoccurring passion for the last 12 months. And paying more attention to it makes me want to pursue it more, to learn it more intricately, to learn is there a path on research there? And I feel like that's where your career will grow. And if you follow that passion, it never really feels like work. But you got to pay attention to what aspect of it excites you because it's so broad and we do so much. Always having that in the back of your mind, I think, can take you good places.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm.
Love what you do, and you've never worked a day in your life. That's important.
Exactly.
Yeah, really important. Lockie, we have many gold nuggets
Mm.
here in this pod. Thank you for sharing your experiences as a passionate speechie, a passionate community clinician. We definitely got that. You know, we like to say no bias, but we do have some here. But I also like to say that all guests, it's be transparent, speak from the heart. And I can really see that passion from you, helping people out in the community, getting that exposure to clients from all different ages and backgrounds, and feeling like you're making a real difference, and you are. So thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sharing your stories. And we'll finish it up there.
Thank you, Jordan. It's absolutely my pleasure. It's been such a gift to be able to speak this about my profession and my company here at GenPhysio. I could go on for the next few hours, but yeah, we'll call it there. But thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.